right, good morning, everyone. Hopefully you can hear me. If not, I'm going to try to speak a little loud if the microphone begins to work. So you can tell me to quiet down a little bit. But look, this morning, I think if nothing else, you've seen a level of continuity and consistency of all the speakers. Let me thank everyone again for being here today at Washington Dulles Airport. Think of it as the anchor of the Dulles Business Corridor, one of the fastest growing and most prosperous places in America. Okay? Think about what you heard this morning. It's a big picture. It's about America that we can make a difference. Those of you who joined us last year for Dulles Matters heard that the Dulles Airport, despite being a key economic engine for this region, was facing some significant business challenges. And you heard also about our strategies for addressing them. This year, think about what you heard. Everything was about getting things done. We have turned the corner. Now it's up to us jointly as an airport across all the different functions, as well as all of our partners that you've seen on stage today, to be able to come up with those things that will separate us from the pack. This morning, a couple things that you need to know. Number one, I want to say congratulations to all of you, because at the end of the day, you will no longer have to sit here for another 2 hours to listen to anybody, but you're going to be up and moving. The reason that we wanted you to move is because when you get into these breakout groups, you got to understand that they're designed for you. They're designed for you to gain insight and understanding about what's going on across 4 key sessions of the work that we have taking place. And it's incumbent on you to learn as well as us, because from a business standpoint, you're going to be able to talk to people representing operations, representing the revenue office, representing marketing, representing IT, all the different functions. So you should be able to get whatever you need to be able to make a difference for us in the marketplace. And here's the way we're looking at it. We don't care if you're a land developer. We don't care if you're an investor. We don't care if you are, commercial. We don't care if you are working with an advocacy group. If you have picked a certain group to be in, that means that you want to understand more about what's available. I hear people say to me, hey, I know all about your Western lands. Yet, I say to them, have you ever visited our Western lands? It's almost like the Virginia situation with DC. It's called, have you gone out to really understand what's available? So today you're going to get that chance. So I want to really emphasize to you as you're making your way, please understand the importance of taking that quality time to truly understand what's going on. I'm going to touch on a couple things for each of the workout groups, because I want you to understand what you can accomplish and what you can gain from the group this morning. Probably the most important thing that you need to know from where I sit, being responsible for non-airline revenue growth, and Jack challenges myself along with my team and the entire organization on this all the time, and we're in the process of taking a look at our 2024 plan. I will say to you confidently that we have an opportunity, despite what the consultant study may say, we have an opportunity to grow equal to that or more if we do the things right that were described on this stage this morning. That's a big deal. That's a big deal. So keep in mind that as you think about growth, land development will be the most significant part of what we do from an index standpoint of business year over year going forward. We can't say that today, but in the next 10 to 15 years, the growth of real estate will be phenomenal here, and a lot of it will have to do with the people that are in this room. Also, I want to say to you that when you're out there, don't think about just the Western lands. You're going to be shown a lot of parcels. You're going to see a lot of different things. Really take a look at it and see how you can help us make an impact. And so expect that the team will give you all the perspective that you need. Now, here's one thing that I want to say to you that I'm very clear on. It's always good to know who the biggest dog in the kennel is. And the biggest dog in the kennel, all right, is United. We need United to make a difference for us here. And then good things will happen. Even the point that Elliot was talking about in regards to IPW. We have research that would suggest that after you run IPW in the headquarters city, up until 3 years later, you can generate up to $1 million new passengers in that marketplace. That's a big deal when you think about the need for passenger growth. Also, I want to say to you that you saw some interesting numbers this morning around this market having the opportunity to be the 4th leading market when it comes to business activity. Keep this in mind, because one thing that you didn't hear is the different cities that we're either behind today or ahead of. Think about this, ranking number 4 in the nation after Manhattan, Chicago, and downtown DC. Think about these cities that are after us, and we don't even have a name other than Dallas-Fort. You got Atlanta, Boston, LA, Houston. That says that we have significant upside in the future. 80% of all international travelers come through Dallas. That's incredible. We got to take advantage of it. They spend more money. Concessions, we're going to continue to move forward very aggressively on it. So as you're working your rounds, looking at concessions, please understand that we have been on a very aggressive journey over the last couple of years. We have about 35 stores. We're going to open again this year. Going forward, we will even have more opportunities, because it's not just about concessions. It's about taking that world-class website that we have. And by the way, it is world-class. All right? The fact that we can do wayfinding, no one else can do that. But we have to turn it into a monetized event. So we're working very closely on what we can do from a revenue standpoint in terms of coming up with different things that we can not only help our existing concessionaires sell, but we will sell some things ourselves in the future, and you will hear more about that as we continue to progress. Lastly, let me mention to you about advocacy groups. I've worked in a lot of industries in my lifetime, but when I think about the advocacy groups here that help us, I want to say to you how lucky we are. We are truly lucky in that we are blessed that we have so many groups willing to help us, and we recognize it. But what we also recognize is that we have an accountability that makes sure that you are clear on what we're trying to accomplish. Because if you know what we're trying to accomplish, you can better align with us to help us meet our ultimate goals. But if we're unaligned, we have a lot of people helping us, and we all may not be on the same page, then that creates an issue. But if we can impact that information that you heard so much about this morning, you got to get more passengers. You got to increase non-airline revenue. You got to take care of your costs. If we do those 3 things, we win. Lastly, I want to say to you is that probably about 5 years from now, and this is what we're projecting as a team, we're going to have a crossover point in terms of revenue generated by aviation, in terms of the airlines. And then we got this thing called non-airline revenue. If we can make that crossover and get more of a percentage of revenue for non-airline going up, and then meanwhile stabilizing it with traditional revenue of the airlines, that's a beautiful thing. Because that's going to come down to how you impact that CPE over time, and then it also means that you have put yourself in a great position to win over time, because now you have a business model that other airlines would want to come here, and then you kind of get back to that notion of what happens with the big dog in the kennel. They just want to get bigger. That's a good thing for us. So I wanted to share those comments with you this morning. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for all the speakers that have spent time giving us an education on what they do to help us. And now I'm going to turn it over to Chris, so that he can kind of walk you through what's going on logistically, because we do have a lot of logistics. I would appreciate if everybody can kind of stay in their position right now until you listen to him about what needs to happen, because we will have people moving into different points, different destinations to get to where they need to go, so that we can keep you on schedule. Chris?